Files in place.
Namaskar to all of you, my dear friends. Welcome to Neelam's Special 13. And the 13th show has very special people here with me. Satvi Chaddaji, who is a darling, Pramila Aroraji, who is another very wonderful person, Som Datta, whom I just met a few days ago, rather yesterday, Dr. Anshu, whom I keep meeting, and Juhi, who has been my pal in Pune. So, in this special show, we have very beautiful poems. And before inviting Satbir ji to render her first poem, let me tell you about a bit about Satbir ji, not the formal, introduction, which you all already know. So, I will think of the poet and think about one word that comes to my mind in this meet. So, the one word which comes to my mind is very, very loving lady, Satbir ji. We've had wonderful time together. We've danced together. We've rendered poetry together. And Satbir ji and I share another passion for nature. So I invite Satbir ji to render her first poem on nature.
Thank you very much, Neelam, for that loving introduction. And I'm so glad, that there is so much love among us. God keep it that way. And you're right, this poem is about nature, the one I'm reading. It's earth melodies. It's the music, the symphony that keeps the world, the universe, the ground, the sky, all in sync, always. And it was written when I was in Vancouver last November, and there was the, the cloud, the sky was full. It was like a cloud full of these birds, like just like Wordsworth's daffodils. So filled the hillside, but the sky was full. And my granddaughter told me these are migratory birds. They are living together in a flock. So I read about the whole poem. The title is Earth Melodies. The breeze that is rattling our fragile windows suddenly swishes louder through delicate rusty leaves as they flounder but don't yet fall. Will it go round the world till it swishes through the name of my city and prance around the bougainvillea hedges there where it may spring? Flocks of birds turn the sky a turbulent grey as I lie on the soft grass at the edge of Trout Lake, a congregation like no other, as they flap and flap in formation, thousands of them together set out and take flight on cue, a long, long journey, annual migration to warmer lands. My city too, perhaps. On a seashore, a group of children have begun a new leisure activity. It's the time for turtle eggs to hatch, and so the kids sit around the beach, alert to tiny sprouts in the soft, sparkling sand, the marvel of birth of new life. As a tiny babe pops its head, then, climbing out of the shell, crawls into the sea, safe, guided by the universal melody, guarded by the children who made it their purpose to secure each tiny life against monsters bent upon stealing turtle eggs, are the symphony of Earth's delicate balance of life and death, death and rebirth, birth and growth, new life, as the earth too rotates in rhyme with the melody of the universe. Thank you. Thank you very
Wow,
much.
wow, that was a wonderful poem. We could actually hear its melody. So thank you so much, Sadhbir. And now,
Indeed.
since Satbir was saying that the Earth keeps moving, let us move to Canada. And Dr. Anshu is laughing. So Dr. Anshu is a trotting person. Like, she doesn't trot in a city or in a place, but she trots all over the world. You find her here at sometime, then you find her there sometime. And she was just telling us that her city right now is Vancouver, and it is very beautiful. I hope
So
it is not beautiful than India. If it is, I'll
should
shoot you.
identify the trout lake, you know.
Nothing can compare with India. Nothing. सारे
So
जहां से
true.
अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा.
So true. So true. So, Anshuji, how do you think that the life of an immigrant would be? Can you render a poem if you've written on it?
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Neelam, for your words, and thank you for inviting me to this Neelam special show. I'm so grateful, and actually, I'm grateful for this page itself, where every now and then, whenever we feel like, we can be there with all freedom and with our expressions. So it's really lovely, heartening. Thank you so much for these opportunities. We get to explore ourselves. So now I'm coming to my poem. As she very rightly said, I'm in Canada, but right now I'm in Oakville, Ontario, where we
Mm-hmm.
recently moved from Vancouver. And The Life of an Immigrant is the title of my poem, which I'm going to render today. It's not easy, but it's not very difficult either. So I would like to share some of the ups and downs of an immigrant's life today. Life of an immigrant. I'm at a marine park here in this beautiful city. A big crowd surrounds. Some are single, few a family. They're diverse from different races, colors, regions, young and old, kids, adults, and adolescents. Walking, pacing, bird watching, playing on swings, some are swimming, different activities, barbecues, cuisines, all are enjoying. I feel proud and happy, admiring the concept of unity in diversity. Each one of them has an ambition, an aspiration, yearning for a life of quality, status, and predication. It's been hard for them. It's been hard for them, efforts and endeavors for making it succeed, the dream of residency approvals, leaving loved ones behind, packing for faraway destinations. It seemed necessary then, now becoming difficult terrains. As the jobs get scarcer and inflation persists, the goals of marriage and family are postponed. The lure of a comfortable life gets faded, left far behind. Pushing themselves to the limit, they're trying to surge ahead. The house rentals, transportation, and daily essentials, cringing away their earnings. Dreams of success evaporating as they impinge upon their meager savings. They got caught in the web of mortgage and loans. Now it's all about exchange rates, calculations, and payments. The festivals of India, celebrations here remind them of their dear homeland. Yet, they gradually embrace the culture of this foreign land. And hence their journey continues, seeking solace in nature, blue skies, and clear waters. Grateful for life's smaller mercies. Grateful for life's smaller mercies. So that was my poem. I hope some of you could relate to that because
Yes, yes,
everybody's
very
children are
well.
moving away.
The practical side of it very well described.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you,
This is
Sadhguruji.
one of your loveliest poems that
Thank
I
you.
have read or heard. So keep writing.
Thank
And
you. Thank you, Neelam.
you were saying a few minutes ago that you love the page, and you don't know how much we love you
Oh,
because you
thank
are an
you.
asset
That is,
to
you've
the
made my
page.
day.
Yeah, so that's your page too, and we love you, and we hope that you continue your journey with us and keep rising, shining. अंतर मन से संवाद करती रहिए.
Thank you, Neelam, for those beautiful words.
So
Thank you.
अंतर मन से संवाद is Dr. Anshu's book, poetry book. So, there are often things which we want to say and we aren't able to say. Like Anshuji wanted to say something for Literary Warriors Group, and I wanted to say something for Dr. Anshu. So I'm so glad that we could speak here in this meet when so many viewers are watching us and will be watching us. So there's something like unsaid you and unheard me. So that is true for every relationship. Now I'm coming to Juhi. This is the poem that she's going to render. But I remember Juhi when I went to Pune. She was one of the 4 poets who had come over to meet me. I still remember the coffee house and the scene, though that was the year was 2017. And Juhi and I clicked so well that we kept connecting, meeting, besides the various poetry meets that would be held in my bungalow. And we kept meeting secretly also. So the secret is open now. So something which I hadn't said, but you all have heard. So what is your poem about, Juhi?
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thanks for revealing the concealed parts. Okay, so here it is. This is one of my forming years. Like Anshu ma'am rightly said that we can be we here on this page. We have all the freedom. And while I was very naive in my forming years when I was writing, I wouldn't give it a thought about grammar and all. So straight coming to my poem, and I'm sure there is a critical ability with each one of us, but I still want to render it. This is Unsaid You, Unheard Me. Look, it's cloudy, it's rain. Wish these drops could see. Our footside on that bench. Seashore is waiting for the unsaid you, the unheard me. Eyes were that hugs, or you did hold me really. Togetherness in the crowd. From that space, erased are we? Lonely road is searching for the unsaid you, the unheard me. You moved on so early, or for real long I stopped. You moved on so early, for real long I stopped. Guess love left us. Life is wandering for the unsaid you, the unheard me. Do you ever wonder how? Do you ever wonder how feelings are still so strong, though it's too late now? Emptiness is craving for the unsaid you, the unheard me. This is from me.
Beautiful.
That's so wonderful. That's so
Thank you.
wonderful.
The
So
last
poems
line.
all
The
Yeah,
last
please.
line about the empty nest. It, it's like, okay, a relationship should be either well endowed and complete, or that it leaves nothing behind otherwise. One of the traumas of today's life.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Very nicely expressed.
Thank
We
you,
are
ma'am.
lacking
Thank
a
you so
lot
much.
of things. You know, Neelam, the youth of today, I mean, we all, where we are noticing it, youth of today are lacking one thing. They are not being able to create strong, mature relationships.
Yes, most definitely agree with you.
And chalo,
So,
they'll learn.
continuing with the word relationship, sometimes we have relationships with people with whom we've never met and we are never going to meet.
Yeah.
So, the first wonderful book, which I read in my school days, which I got as a gift, my school always used to give gift books whenever we were toppers or we were excelling in some subject. So the first book that I received was titled Gora by Rabindranath Tagore. And when I read it, oh, I fell in love with his writings. After that, I read a lot of his books and lot of his poems, but that remains my favorite book because that was the first. It is something like first love.
You want the best.
So
You want
when
the
I came
best.
to Kolkata, the only place I wanted to go and see was Shantiniketan, and I'm so happy to have visited it. I really enjoyed it. And so, friends, we are live again after a gap. I think we all got so engrossed in Tagore that even this link broke. So, I once again invite Promilaji to render her poem from the beginning.
Thank you. I was explaining the quote, O woman, you are not merely the handicraft of God, but also of men. These even endow you with beauty from their own hearts. You are one half woman and one half dream. The poem starts thus. Lord in his heaven had a dream, chiseled that imagination into a structure, and sent that on the earth. Man, dumbfounded, looking at the beauty, fascinated, captivated, smiled in the edges, eyes adorably. Man, dumbfounded, looking at the beauty, fascinated, captivated, smiled in the eyes adorably, and silently waited for the beauty to smile. Lo, the structure moved, winked and smiled vivaciously. Man allured, wooed, and it was called a woman. Man allured, wooed, and it was called a woman. Lord, charmed at the beauty of his own creation, entered her womb and came out as her child. Lord, charmed at the beauty of his own creation, entered her womb and came out of her as her child and sought her to feed. Moved by passionate affection, she took him in her lap. Thus she fed the Lord. Tears rolled down out of joy. Tears rolled down out of joy in the eyes of the Lord at the perfection of his own creation. At the perfection of his own creation, jumped and shouted, O woman, thou art not merely handicraft, thou art beauty. O woman, thou art not merely handicraft, thou art beauty, reflecting through the hearts of men. Thou art beauty, reflecting through the hearts of men. He wooed and transformed thy structure to a woman. He wooed and transformed thy structure to a woman. Thou art my dream. Thou art my dream, but have to transform myself as a man.
Wow.
Thou art my dream, but have to transform myself as a man to fulfill my dream. To fulfill my dream, I bow before thee. I bow before thee, my mother, O my mistress. I bow before thee. Thank you.
That was wonderful. That was wonderful.
Very nice.
Imagination can take us to places. And Somdatta, whom I met yesterday, and we kept talking and talking for, I suppose, 2 hours or 3 hours, I don't even remember. And she was so full of enthusiasm. I hope that we would keep meeting more often now. But today, let me invite her to render her poem on the Santals, who are a tribal community in Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal, Assam, and Bihar. And I remember that when I went to Shanti Niketan, some of the people were dancing there and they invited me to do a Santali dance, and I enjoyed myself to the fullest. So, Somdatta.
I am invited to Shanti Niketan on 7th, 8th August.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
The program is
Okay.
arranged for me. Meet Pramila Arora there.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. So, Somdatta,
I will
your poem.
Shanti Niketan shortly.
Thank you so much, Neelam ma'am. It was so very interesting, exciting, thrilling, and rejuvenating to meet you yesterday at your residence over a poetry meet or maybe a friendly meet. I hope that this keep on as a journey eternally and a bond that reflects to the enthusiasm and vivacity we both cherish over each other. So, over today's poem, I also want to reflect one or two things that Santals definitely, as Neelamji said, they are the tribals who can be, found in the states of Orissa, Assam, West Bengal, Jharkhand, and they are a part of our country's culture, and they determine that cultural heritage of our country. When I see tourists coming over to our country and enjoying their, their dance, their art, their culture, and their, they are also some people among this community who has uplifted themselves over education and academics to, very, very successful lives today.
Let's
Over
hear your
example,
poem. Let's hear your poem.
okay. So the poem title is The Santals. Worshipping nature to a divine manifestation, Jaher, the sacred grooves relate to their nature spirits in a vocation. With vibrant tradition of folk songs and dances, the Santhal tribes engross in the Tundak, Tamak, and the Tiria as enhancers. Migrating to Chota Nagpur Plateau as wanderers, they split in Bihar, Orissa with their culture and art to amuse nature lovers. They are the Austroasiatic speaking Munda ethnic group. In Indian subcontinent, they indulge in agriculture like a stoop. In the blessing box or the golden fleece, their cultural vibrancy deserve many admiration over their workpiece. With hand spun and hand woven cotton to embellish them, they wear panchi and parhan to drape together to a main stem. In their hamlets near the hills they recluse, hunting, gathering, and fishing, a new fascination sprouts. Connecting to the trees and plants to a divine sanctity, their 12 clans adhere to complex social laws in an affinity. skilled craftsmen in pottery and musical instruments. Their oral traditions uplift their diverse cultural engagements. Over festivals like Sorai and Baha for music and dance renditions, it's admirable to witness their distinctive, skilled imbibation. With expressive gestures and synchronized footwork, they perform, amalgamating musical renditions, they evoke peace and solidarity to conform. Leaves, flowers, and branches describe their ebullient exhilaration as they hold each other to a chain for expressing unity in a liberation. So that is all about my poetry. And here I
Beautiful,
can.
beautiful.
Beautiful,
So
very
wonderfully
beautiful.
expressed. I mean, how
Thank you.
little one needs for happiness. Uh, it just shows that your
I'm
poem is
sorry I missed
totally
a part of
expressive.
it, but I will watch it on the recording later on. It's
Yeah,
called
yeah.
an
So
Absentee for a
It's a
Minute.
here
beautiful
we are
poem.
at the halftime. Here we are at the halftime, and I think I'm also at my halftime in my life. So middle age crisis already. I'm experiencing it little further. So I would request Neelam ma'am here to say
Yes.
something because she's written vividly on every topic possible. I would want her to render something on the old age so that it would inspire me.
Sure. One is old when one feels old. And like Sukhbir ji here or Pramila ji here, they are so full of enthusiasm that I feel that they'll never age. So they are timeless beauties. But anyway, here goes my poem, Old Age. Old age, a cave everybody needs to pass through, a path everyone is afraid to tread, and mostly one has to take. Fear has always been a part of our lives, keeps popping up every now and then. Some wail, some panic, some prefer to die, afraid of the clutches of old age. Some willfully surrender. After all, there's no other option. Some raise a toast to it. After all, being friendly with the enemy is better. Some raise a toast to it. After all, being friendly with the enemy is better. Some waltz with it. The last dance should be the best one. Some waltz with it. The last dance should be the best one. Me, neither will I surrender nor sleep with it, since I don't regard it as either my love or my foe. Maybe I'll just hold its hands, embrace it, just as I've embraced my childhood, teenage, and youthfulness, and let it be a relationship of peaceful coexistence. In some relationships, one just exists because one can see happiness beyond. In some relationships, one just exists because one can see happiness beyond it. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful.
That was just so motivating, and yes, looking forward to it. Ma'am, please take the show further.
Thank you so much, Jui. So, friends, here we are in round two, and we have Meera Bhansali joining us, who is a wonderful poet. But she begins her tales with "मैं एक भूत हूँ." Whoa. So she's a ghost writer, not a ghost writer. She's a writer who writes
Got
on
it.
ghosts. So Promilaji, as we already discussed earlier, has written poems on the quotes by Tagore. So now she'll take us back to our childhood. Promilaji. Pramilaji, we request you to render
Yes.
your second poem.
Yes, I am going to read another poem on Tagore's quote. Although the quotes are so small, but they have vibrated my mind, and it is sort of research work to do write poetry on his quotes. Now the quote is: the steps that I heard in childhood play, their music resounds in all the music of this world. We know the nature is full of music, but I have found music in the childhood plays, steps of child. Here goes the poem. Music makes the heart vibrate. Its sensation never fades. Music makes the heart vibrate. Its sensation never fades. Music flows like a river. It makes the soul stir and quiver. Music flows like a river. It makes the soul stir and quiver. Music pours like a shower. Music blooms like a flower. Its fragrance fumigates the universe. Every object resounds with it and converse. I heard the steps of innocent child. Music of these makes the world resonant. I reminisce the steps of childhood play. The music in it makes me happy and gay. The next stanza is a research work, I think. An innocent toddling with anklets tinkling makes me feel divine bells ringing. An innocent toddling with anklets tinkling makes me feel divine bells ringing. Falling all of a sudden with a thud. Falling all of a sudden with a thud. Pressed all keys of harmonium with a buzz. Pressed all keys of harmonium with a buzz. Jumping in fun up and down makes the rhythm of tabla known. Jumping in fun up and down makes the rhythm of tabla known. Stealing steps in hide and seek create alap notation as birds tweet. Stealing steps in hide and seek creates alap notations as birds tweet. Steps taken in running a race produce music in different space. Moving from slow to fast on track. Moving from slow to fast on track. Notes passing Adi to Pancham to Tar Saptak. Notes passing Adi to Pancham to Tar Saptak. Running one after another in circular motion. Running one after another in circular motion makes the Tana of gamut notations. Makes the Tana of gamut notations. Jumping in rain, water in glee, sounds like Chapatal on Jholiki. Jumping in rain, water in glee, sounds like Chapatal on Jholiki. Child rowing a paper boat makes the tranquil music float. Child rowing a paper boat makes the tranquil music float. Child is innocent, never obscene. Thus music is ever pure and serene. Child is innocent, never obscene. Thus music is ever pure and serene. All the instruments, flute to trumpet, reflect the music of the child's steps. All the instruments, flute to trumpet, reflect the music of the child's steps. Music making the sonorous sounds, only making the child steps resound. Music making the sonorous sounds, only make the child steps resound. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. That was wonderful. Very powerful imagery was there in the poem. Thank you for rendering such a beautiful poem. And I want to dance, but I can't right now. So moving on, now I would like to invite Somdatta for her second poem. She comes up with very different topics, unique topics. So now she would be talking about a lady who bites her nails. So
Oh,
Somdatta,
wow.
our curiosity is raised. Please render your poem.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much, ma'am, once again for taking me. Uh, there are times when I just take a flight into my imaginations and become, get into the weirdest world. So this is one production of that while I was sitting idle at times and I was writing this poem. This is about the life of a lady who belongs to an affluent society, and she had some weird habits of chewing the nails. The nails means not these nails. Nails means the nails that we hook on the walls
Oh,
with the
I
hammer.
got it.
So this is the weirdest things, most unusual thing about this poem, that this lady possessed some very unusual, unconventional habits. So this is what my content is all about. The title is The Lady Who Chewed Nails. A blonde lady living in a magnificent estate led a luxurious lifestyle to ornate. Her habits were peculiar and her customized food amazed all. She had several helpers to entertain her with activity. Over her love for rabbits, there were magicians to amuse her, as they turned the rabbits into flowers and the carrots into fragrance. In tall tree houses in her orchard, she would store many coins and brass lamps in portions. Her lavatories reserved faces of comedians. As she bathed, her smile would aglow a reason. She loved chewing nails and screws that would be dipped in a bowl of crushed sandpaper sauce. She enjoyed swinging in her vast garden area and embraced her solitary moments where she related in soliloquies. A tremendous passion for tools led her eat them in different recipes, from pork nails tenderloin to chicken nails karaage, to soups of wrenches and saws served with aborage. Her elegance revered her prototypical preferences as she designed her new gown in transcendence. An attire which exhibited 400 bolts and nuts, stitched
Oh,
with several tiny hammers and awls. She posed for a grand soiree at her community hall. Those luxurious chandeliers, built with lanterns, attracted all. She pranced with dignity and was the center of attention by a noble man with affinity. He took her gently and kissed her hand to honor her presence so perfectly. Guests were all amazed to witness a taste, astounded they couldn't put their eyes off from her empress. Thank you. Here I come.
Wow, wow, wow. One thing I would like to say here, Somdatta, your rendition is superb. Of
Thank you
course,
exactly.
so
your
much.
imagination is also superb, but your rendition is superb.
Thank you.
Kudos to you.
It's a
And I
pleasure.
hope
So,
I
so
never
true.
meet such a lady. I would be so,
Very unusual, very unusual, yes.
but a very nice poem and nice imagination. So moving on. मुझे वो गाना याद आ रहा है कोई लौटा दे मेरे बीते हुए दिन So, Satdeep ji, I suppose you must surely be having some poem about nostalgia for the past. We would like to hear the poem.
Sure. It's just the one. mystical, haunting, and nostalgic midsummer days. Those in our times were mostly spent with dadis and nannies, you know. We never went abroad for summer holidays. And a lot of cousins would be together. You all know all that. Magical afternoons spent in quarantined shade, alternating between a snooze, a nap, a daydream, and a song. Was that granny snoring, or did the internet come strong? Through heavy drapes, trills the shrill bird song of homing birds chirping, chatting, twittering as they go along. You know, when the afternoon was considered dangerous for children, so now the homing birds, so we can go out. Trolleys of tea with cakes and scones, melodious strains from the mosque for the evening azan, special to the fragile few weeks of the Indian midsummer. Fragrance of night jasmines and the delicate Indian mogra infused in the easteries that soothe the charred soul of my poem. Sea of smiling, nodding, beaming golden sunflowers. Sea of smiling, nodding, beaming golden sunflowers, as far as I can see, far yonder till the foot of the hills, the valley's own midsummer glory. Drinking the scorching sun, not reflecting it. The sunflowers drinking the scorching sun, not reflecting it, spreading cheer instead. The peepal tree thick with latticed leaves, so shady, the concrete tree ring around the trunk, a potted tulsi plant, and two large matkas filled with water from the well. Such peace. Golden, juicy, plump mangoes floating in tubs of water, the exquisite charm of the Indian midsummer. Do I see lovebirds behind the trembling leaves? Do I see lovebirds behind the trembling leaves? They should be, now that it is the season of love. Fluttering butterflies carry hope on their wings, and the hoot of the peacock heralds distant rain. Are the special, so special memories of childhood summer, like a spot of golden light in murky weather, like dusk deepening into the eternal night, gets a splash of cool moonlight. These memories, my sweet treasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. You took us all down the memory lane, and I felt like saying, "Oh Lord, make me a child again." And then I remembered that my heart is still a child.
Of
So,
course, of course.
I was tempted with by the mangoes. Mention of the mangoes floating on the water.
Exactly. We all have similar memories of mangoes
yes,
and
yeah.
jamuns and all the fields, all those
And
open
and the
spaces,
abundance and the
and the abundance.
abundance.
Yes, exactly. So true.
So, that was a wonderful poem.
Thank
Satbiji,
you.
hugs to
Yeah.
you. Yes, I'm hugging you. So, moving on, I would now like to invite Dr. Anshu for a poem. Darkness to light is a topic which I love, and I've written a lot on it. And now Dr. Anshu today would also be rendering a poem on this theme. So I'm very curious, Dr. Anshu, what you would be saying. Please.
Thank you, Neelam. Yes, and I too love to write about optimism and positivity, and especially how one can grow out of the past, how much ever painful it may have been. The shadows of the past always get faded by the blooms of the present. So, yeah, so my poem is titled Shadows of Yesterday, and it has been awarded in one of the contests of Literary Warrior Group. So, I'm
Oh, you have
honored.
been the prize winner so many times.
Thank you. Thank you. So it goes like this. The shadows stretch from days gone by. Whispers of echoes, a hollow sigh. They creep along the silent walls, a past that haunts, a voice that calls. They walk ahead, I follow behind, a silent echo, a shape undefined. Born from light, yet draped in the night, a fleeting form, never truly mine. The shadows, they tell of scars, of battles lost, of bridges burned, of heavy cost. They weigh like stones upon my chest, a sleepless mind, a soul distressed. Yet shadows form where light still glows. Shadows form where light still glows. Beyond the dark, the sunrise grows. The past may call, but it won't define. The past may call, but it won't define. It's a fleeting ghost, no longer mine. It's a fleeting ghost, no longer mine. I rise again. I rise again, though burdened still, with a weary heart, but an iron will. With a weary heart, but an iron will. For every shadow cast in time proves there's a light my soul will shine. It proves there's a light my soul will shine. I will not bow. I will not bow. I will not break. The dawn is mine, my path to make. For even when the night is long, I walk with hope and I sing my song. I walk with hope and I sing my song. Thank you.
That was wonderful. A very
Wonderful,
motivational poetry.
Thank you. Thank
So,
you.
Just similar to the motivation we see when we meet you, and
Thank you.
when so you are
Thank you.
yourself a living motivation.
Thank you.
So
Thank
moving
you.
on, now Juhi. Juhi has those typical punch lines and punch words which she comes up with. So the title of her next poem is itself having a punch. She says, "Death is the life." Now this raises my curiosity, and I hope it does for others too. So, Juhi, your poem.
Thank you so much. So yes, I'll straight come to the poem, and I would like to dedicate it to someone I lost really soon. I mean, I lost my bua this June. Though she lived a very content life, and she lived it for others, and most dignified life, I would say. So I would just come to the poem, as you said, death is the life. Death is the life I will long live. In the moment you bid me adieu, in the purest of briny teardrops, sliding on your lips and confessing the realest of miss you. In unkept promises you made me sigh for, and the wish list you had to be done with me. In the smile that would just pop up on your tear-dried face. In the smile that would just pop up on your tear-dried face with my weirdest things you would cherish about. In the told stories, in the told stories of you and I, unfolded to places, to walls with my traces. In the told stories of you and I, unfolded to places, to walls with my traces, in the mornings. In the mornings, mistakenly made 2 cups of chai. In the night of no regrets and nascent outbursts. In the ink, in the ink that wrote, in the ink that wrote words circumventing you. Yea, fullest life I will live in you. That was Death in Life.
Beautiful tribute, Juhi. Very, very beautifully dedicated. Loved
Thanks,
it. Loved
ma'am.
it.
Thanks. And as we move forward to this event, and I'm enjoying every poem, and it's all matter of our mind. So let's hear from Neelam ma'am how her day looks like. I always wonder, she juggles like an acrobat with everything. So something with her mind. So her poem's title, Your Mind is Like a Silent Shore, which she recently wrote. I guess she had posted it as well. Everyone believes that it's calm. So yeah, we do believe your mind is calm. We would like to hear more about it. So all over to you, ma'am. Ma'am, you're on mute.
So sorry. So poems are not always about yourself. They can be about others too. So I do write for others, thinking from their point of view. So this is not about me, but yes, I was in my colony. There's a river Hooghly. It's just 200 steps away from my house. And every day during the morning walk, I go there and click some pictures. And I find every day the scene is different on the same river. So, yesterday when I was sitting there, these thoughts came to my mind. Shores are not always silent. This is the title. Your mind is like a silent shore. Everyone believes that it's calm. Your mind is like a silent shore. Everyone believes that it is calm. An onlooker may lazily spend a few hours sitting, sipping tea, and even eating pyaj pakoras. An ardent photographer may try to capture the breathtaking beauty. A weekend painter may come with his canvas and paint the contours of the stage shore. A notable poet may write on the reflections of the night lights that rhythmically shake in water. What they'll all assume is that the shore is gracefully calm. What they'll all assume is that the shore is gracefully calm. However, the inner turmoil may, like the overwrought waves, keep striking towards the poised surface again and again and yet again. And if you don't dip your meandering mind in a sacred bottle of nirvanic nectar and fearlessly face the inner turmoil, the waves may also erode you, taking away your comforting charm. So that was my poem.
It's a beautiful
Profound.
poem.
Profound.
I think
very
I read it already this
thought-provoking.
morning, you
Yeah.
know. I read it already this morning and I was thrilled with it. And hearing you reciting it, I can feel all that went in your mind. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Very meaningful, Neelam. Very, very well
Very
put.
meaningful.
Very well expressed.
It was
Yes.
enveloped in the poem, in the thoughts and in
Yes.
the
Yes.
And a perfect showstopper, actually. Yes.
Oh, poems are like that. There's a proper
Yeah.
meaning.
Very.
Everything
Yeah.
is, yeah.
And
She
short
knows
and
what she's
thought
saying.
provoking and to the point. Exactly.
And she knows what she has to say. That's all.
Exactly. Exactly. Wonderful.
Everything is God's grace, and it was God's grace that we all meet together in Neelam Special Show 13. And I would just like to tell the people who've joined us or are joining us about our Lit Fest. We are having Lit Fest 3.0 at Pune CME Dapodi. And we make wonderful arrangements. So please do visit us. And if you can't visit us, participate in our online contests. We have online poetry contest, online story contest, book contest, rendition, which is also in the form of contest, and we have book launches. So please join us. If you have any doubts about the contest, we have Jui here. Let me just focus her in a solo layout.
When is the Lit Fest happening? When is the Lit Fest?
4th and 5th of October at
Oh,
Pune.
Pune.
So if you all
I
can
missed
join,
I missed the one which happened in Delhi, and I was so upset because I missed it.
we were also
Let's
upset.
see. Let's
But
see. I
do
hope
make for it by
yes,
attending the next
I
one.
shall definitely try. Yes.
So,
Thank
friends,
you so much.
thank you for joining as a panelist on this wonderful session. I've really enjoyed, and I hope you all enjoyed it too. And to the
Yes, it's
viewers who joined us or will
beautiful
be joining
poetry.
us, please do leave your comments because they inspire the poets to write more. So, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Bye bye. See you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Neelam, for organizing all
Thank you,
this.
Neelam ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am.